Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time. Number one, I know you were on with us yesterday. This has been a double header webinar week at Levinson. And the reason why, as you know, we typically host these on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. This week we had a Wednesday and Thursday presentation. We're trying to get in as many great webinars that bring a lot of value add to our agents before the year end, so you can come out running and gunning come 2024, right? That's the name of the game, and now's the time where you have to have your plan in place, your business model, and what are you going to do different for 24, right? Going into the new year. So we have to do the best job we can, right, to make sure we're bringing you the very best from all of our 90 plus life insurance and annuity carriers. Now, it's important for you to know we huddle up every single Monday morning with our entire marketing team in 4 different states now, and we try to hand pick what's hot, what's not, and what do our agents need to learn about? What can help them change their business for the better? So I know you're scratching your head saying, Bill, you have so many companies. We do these every week. And yes, we do have so many companies. Yes, we do these every week, but we only have a small list of core go to carriers. Okay. And the reason why is we want to build a great relationship with these companies and not spread ourselves too thin, right? We want to be known as a big fish for our top 10 core companies. And when you think about those core companies, you want to make sure each carrier represents a niche in the space, right? We don't want to have a Burger King, a McDonald's, a Wendy's all on the same corner. So when you look at our core companies, right, number one, they're very important to us. We have these direct IMO preferred contracts. Okay, so you're not 10 levels below the GA who's 20 levels below the IMO. No, it's you, Levinson, and the carrier. Okay, so it's very important for you to know. But what's also important for you to know is when to use, let's say, one out of the 10 companies, depending on a client's situation. So we have not had a Securian Life webinar for a long time now. Okay, was Minnesota Life years back. Now Securian, A plus rated. And what happened is, and I'll just tell you like it is, we had an agency that came to us and said, Bill, we are writing a ton of this business. And I'm like, Bob, how come you're not writing it with us? He's like, I didn't even know you guys had Securian. And shame on us for not putting the word out, for not marketing properly, right? Obviously, we didn't touch all of our agents and agencies with a Securian message or story. So I started to look a little deeper under the covers, right? We've obviously been a partner for a while, but they weren't really considered a core, top 10 company. So as I started looking and digging and figuring out, oh my gosh, some of these underwriting niches, okay, some of these products, some of the underwriting platform, okay, non-med up to 3 million with an e-application. And I started to look at smokers, okay, vape users, e-cigarette users, okay, getting a risk class upgrades or even considered to be non-smokers. I said, oh my gosh, we need to make Securian part of our 10 top core list of carriers. And that's how we came to today's presentation, because I know if I was an agent out there, I'm in the trenches, right? I'm in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, working out of my third bedroom. I need to have the most competitive products for my consumers, right? I'm working my leads every day. I'm calling on these people. I have to make sure I know enough to be dangerous. And I need to make sure if I'm talking to a 30-year-old e-cigarette user that I'm giving him or her the best product and quote possible. Okay, because the worst thing that you want to happen is you're the agent in Cedar Rapids and you're quoting carrier B, and then Bill Levinson comes in, right, and quotes Securian because of this non-smoker program, comes in at half the premium, a better product. You lose the case. Bill Levinson's the winner, and he just earned a new client in referrals and now is able to cross sell various products to this consumer. So you need to think like this. 24/7. And so do we, because we are responsible for bringing these products, these carriers, these niches to our agents. So you can depend on our office and marketing team, right? For the best products possible. And that's how we came to today's presentation. So this is kind of a relaunch, a re-grand opening, if you will, for Securian. Okay. By the way, they were one of the first carriers to come out with IUL, which is also a huge deal. Okay. We've been talking about this ultimate door opener, the $99 legacy concept. Okay. I mean, when you hear about this, I don't know a grandparent, a parent that's going to say no for this product on their children or grandchildren. It's a no-brainer, okay? And it's peanuts. It costs barely anything, okay? You're going to hear more about this in a few more minutes, but some great stuff. Sit back, relax, take plenty of notes. We have the Q&A pane up there. You can expand or minimize, fire away, feedback, good, bad, and different. We want to hear from all of you, and then we'll answer all questions at the end. In fact, we'll probably get to most of them as we go in real time. But the point is, don't be shy, jump in, and then we're going to send out a thank you email when we wrap up tonight. So you'll have that in your inbox with all the brochures and contracting, everything you need to get started. You'll have that sitting there. And then if you're watching this webinar over the weekend, right, or maybe next week or in a few weeks, whatever it is, any questions, or if you want to get started, just call in and we'll get you up and running 100%. Okay? All right, so let's dive right in. I have a few slides, and then I'm going to introduce our VP at Securian Life in just a few more minutes. But what I want to talk about is what's most important to all of us here at Levinson, to our team and family, right, is you all, as our agents, because we know we would never, ever, and I say this all the time, but it's the truth, we would never be in this spot if it wasn't for you. Okay, and so many of you are out there recruiting more agents, right? And the downline agents are saying, well, who's this Levinson and Associates IMO? And, tell me more before I jump in bed with you. I need to know their whole story. So it's very, very important that you understand. Number one, founded in 1972. Here we are today, 26 employees, 4 different states, and growing like crazy because of you all. Okay, and we don't forget that. Every app, even if it's $2 a month, doesn't matter. You made our day. That's what we live for. Okay, we don't have walk-ins like a 7-Eleven. Our walk-ins are our agents calling in. Okay, and we appreciate every single opportunity, even if the case turns out to be a decline or withdrawn case, whatever the situation is. So I love seeing these testimonials, reviews. By the way, leave one of these on our Facebook page or our Google reviews page. I send you a prospecting book for IUL on us. Okay? Okay. I'm not going to read every single word. I'm going to go very quickly, but I do want to give these agents a shout out because I so appreciate this, and so does every one of our team members. I'm blown away by the support and professionalism of Levinson. I was able to write my first life policy ever, a $2 million term, thanks to your staff. The Levinson team was instrumental in the whole sales process. And Bill's weekly webinars gave me the education needed to get my feet wet. You are literally opening new doors in my career. Okay, Kirk, thank you. Okay, that's what we live for here. All right, my cell phone number is on my business card since I started 24 and a half years ago. Okay, there's a reason. This is our life. We live for these types of reviews and comments and your success, because without it, right, we don't have success. So it's very simple concept. Samuel, top center, working with Levinson has been an incredibly rewarding experience personally and professionally. They have provided me with a platform to excel in my career and make a real difference in the lives for my clients. I recommend Levinson to any life insurance agent seeking a trusted partner who genuinely cares about their success. So, and then I'm just going to mention one more. And by the way, Cliff, Denise, James, Samuel, again, thank you. I like this one real fast. I'm going to mention this top right corner, and then I'll move on. I was honored by a call from Kerry Levinson himself regarding my satisfaction. Kerry was gracious with a warm welcome to the agency, which of course I appreciated. For the record, I was trying to express extremely satisfied in speaking with Levinson, and I look forward to getting started. So Very important for you to know there's a tough case, right? Or maybe you're having a problem getting a case approved. Maybe it's a monster case and you really need Carrie to step in and ask for a business decision, an underwriting improvement, whatever it is. Feel free. Call Carrie, call myself. We have, yes, 23,000 plus agents all over the U.S. Okay, but we never forget you brought us to the dance. Okay, that service, that customer service aspect has to be spot on 24/7 or we're in reverse, which we're not going to let happen. Okay? So please always know that. Keep that in the back of your mind. We're here to help you. We're never too big. All right, let's keep moving forward here. So real fast, what I want to do next is talk about our annual expo. This is our big to do right on the ocean in Deerfield Beach, South Florida. I want to bring this up because we're not far away. Okay, it's only about 4.5 months. Right down that day, April 12th. Okay, that is our 2024 annual expo. The entire day, we bring in some of our top core companies, keynote speakers. We're going to do an agent roundtable discussion. It's going to be an excellent day, and it's built around you walking away with nuggets. Okay, that's the name of the game, and it's free. As long as you're active with Levinson, we pay for everything: breakfast, lunch, snacks. You literally you're having lunch on the ocean. Okay, and that picture, by the way, that is from the hotel, the South Florida Resort that you're going to be staying at, and we're hosting the event at. Starting at 30,000 of paid premium, life and annuity combined, we pay for one free night, and then up to 70,000 combined, we pay for round trip airfare, 2 free nights at our beachfront location. Make sure to get the premium in as soon as you can, and make sure to RSVP ASAP because it's going to fill up. We're capped at 300 seats, okay? And we should be very close already. Toys for Tots, very important. I spoke about this yesterday, but again, it means so much to us. It's nothing to make light of. If I have to talk about this every day for the rest of my life, it's okay. Why? Because every application you submit, okay, and I mean this, every single penny of commissions, overrides, renewals, whatever it is, goes towards this charity, Toys for Tots. Okay, this is very, very important to everyone. On behalf of our agents, our employees, we have been the silver sponsor year after year, helping to contribute over $100,000. Okay, that's a big deal. These toys, this money goes to underprivileged children and families in the U.S. So, yes, I'm bringing this up again. The rally, the event was last Saturday. So you'll see some more pictures on our website. But again, very, very proud of this. It's all about giving back. And I'm not just sitting here on a webinar trying to make ourselves look good. I'm not doing that because it's about you. Because again, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to be a silver sponsor. It's that simple. Let's keep moving. So the next slide here, I spoke about all of our carriers and products and lead programs and technology. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You're probably scratching your head saying, Bill, how am I supposed to keep up? Right? It's overwhelming. I don't know where to begin. So we made it very simple for you. Every other week, we send out the Levinson Life and Annuity 411 leader. Okay, it's an email. You just click on an image, and everything you need to know with our 90 companies, including Securian, is listed in the 411. What's hot, what's not, new products, new niches, everything from A to Z. Okay, so it's like a one-stop shop, so you don't have to go to 92 different websites every single day or week. All right, let's keep moving along here. So we have a couple of contests that are great, especially during holiday time, right? Everybody wants a few $100, makes the holiday a little sweeter, a little nicer. So Insure Me Now Direct, you already know what that is. I won't talk about that, but I will say, write your first app on Insure Me Now Direct. You get a $100 gift card on top of your commissions and renewals, which are paid on most products. And number one, your agent of record. This is not some type of referral program, which, by the way, I hope you're not doing anything like that because you deserve to be agent of record. Okay, that's the right way to do it, especially down the road. If your client needs some help with a certain policy, they need to rely on you, and you need to reach out to them to service their policy every year. We know how that works. Write your first app, $100. Right hand side, annuity contest launching on the first. Very simple. This includes MIGA and FIA products. Okay, this is a hell of a gift. What we're doing is Ruth Chris Steakhouse gift card, or we are giving you a 1 year membership to Cooper's Hawk Winery. So you get to pick. We're going to give out the prizes at our 2024 Levinson Expo. Okay, it's my last slide, and then I'm going to have Jim take over. It's an important slide because today, especially knowing Securian was one of the first to come out with IUL, right, which is huge. And by the way, when he's done, I'm going to share a bunch of ideas, strategies, social media posts that other agents are using to drive traffic and make more sales. So make sure you're on until the end. What I want to show you here, this is a spreadsheet of our top IUL carriers. And here's what's great. So we offer the Stonewood software presentation system. We offer it free, by the way. You can call any one of our marketers. We can run the quote illustration for you, no problem. But Securian is one of the compliant approved companies with Stonewood. So that's a big deal. Okay. If you also notice, top left corner, that's where they shine. And you're about to hear why from Jim Williams. Okay. In just a second here. So let's turn it over to the next slide. And then I want to introduce formally our regional RVP with Securian Financial, Mr. Jim Williams. Will take the wheel, sit back, relax, take plenty of notes, and then we'll circle back at the end. Jim?
Thank you very much. But that sure is a great way to start the meeting, and I'm so glad to be on board here today addressing you all. When I was first asked to get ready for this call, I was asked to submit what I would describe as a top 10 list of reasons why you'd want to dial in. And I couldn't help thinking about David Letterman and even Casey Kasem, if you remember who he is, because it was a top 10 list. So I thought I'd do this David Letterman style, starting with number 10. And the first thing that I came up with to mention at number 10 is that Securian Home Office Associates are Minnesota nice. That sounds funny, but that really is a thing. They even talk about being Minnesota nice. The people in the home office that we work with, underwriters, case managers, contracting people, commission people, all really do go out of their way to help us in a very nice way. So they're terribly cordial and helpful. So let's move on to number 9. Number 9 reason why you'd want to do business with Securian, or at the very least dial into this call. Securian is a mutual holding company with a 96 Comdex rating. And then what you should see on your screen is the ratings that we have from all 4 major rating Comdex rating that you see on the screen is very high. As a matter of fact, if you do any kind of filtering and any kind of a search engine to find a carrier, if you put 95 or higher Comdex, it narrows it down to very few carriers, especially very few carriers who have the kind of products and services that I'm about to talk to you about. So that's number 9. Let's move on to number 8. Concerning term insurance, I know we're here to talk about IUL, but I have to mention term insurance because we have a couple of really good term insurance solutions and opportunities. So first of all, with our term policies, we have an extended conversion agreement that can be added. So for example, the basic conversion period on a 10-year term is 5 years. But if you add the extended conversion agreement, I say agreement, you have to get used to our Minnesota nice language. We call riders agreements. So the extended conversion agreement would move the conversion
Jim, I think we lost you there. Can you hear us okay? All right, just bear with us.
So on as you go through
Jim?
The list of the
Jim, can you hear me okay?
Have I lost you?
Jim? Yeah, we lost you for about 20, 30 seconds there. So
hello?
I don't know if it's your, yep, can you hear me okay?
Oh, really? I hear you, yes.
Okay, all right, perfect. You can continue, we're good.
We're good? Okay,
Yep,
good.
we're okay.
Yeah. So what I was trying to say, yeah, we have no, air quotes, conversion product. Any of our currently available products can be converted to from our term policies within the period of time. If it's a 10-year term, the base conversion period is 5 years. If you add the extended term conversion option, it'll go out to 10 years, right? So there are also joint life opportunities. If you want to convert individuals into a survivorship product, we allow that too with certain guidelines, whether it's just one of them or the other, as long as the other one gets fully underwritten. All those details will be made available to you, but keep that in mind if you have a survivorship case and you know that there are Securian or Minnesota life policies in force. Get in touch with Levinson. We may be able to provide an easier way to underwrite that case. Now, the other thing that I want to mention as a great term option is what we call the CICA rider, the Chronic Illness Conversion Agreement. So here's what it really means. Let's say you have somebody who's middle-aged and they're very responsible. They've done everything their advisors have told them to do, and they've been good accumulators. And now they're asking you, well, should we start talking about long-term care now? And maybe that's a little premature at their age, but if they think they're going to want to use a life insurance tool to do that later, if they buy term insurance from us now and add the CICA rider, when it's time to convert, they can convert without evidence of mortality underwriting and morbidity, which means they'd be able to get a life policy with a chronic illness agreement on it, which could pay a benefit to them if they become, if they lose 2 out of 6 activities of daily living or have a severe cognitive impairment. They could go into claim in that new policy. So what it really means is they've got the insurance company right where they want them. They've got guaranteed conversion for the life side, guaranteed conversion for the chronic illness agreement. And that's a really good tool. And as far as I know, there's only one other carrier that has that. So, and I should have said this at the top, so many things I could talk to you about today. I only wanted to talk to you about some of these product ideas that are really unique, really stand out. And then I also want to tell you, where you can use them. So as we go through, that's what I want to guide me in as far as what I say next. So that's number 8. If we go on to number 7, it was already mentioned. Number 7 reason to be on the call today is Securian was an early adopter of indexed universal life. And that's really important because we started early. We've been in it in a big way ever since. And it's going on, well, at least 15 years, if not longer. Number 6, Jim and I, it says Jim and Ryan we have a combined total of 63 years in the business. That's me and my internal. I've been in the business an awfully long time for what that's worth. If we move on to number 5, I'm going to skip 6 because that's Jim and Ryan. Securian has unique riders, right? And I want to talk to you about a couple of them in the confines of accumulation-based sales first. Now I'll get on to death benefit-oriented sales in a minute, but on accumulation-based sales, we have some really great riders. So for example, and these are things that can help you tremendously put together a case using very unique design aspects. So you see premium deposit account on your screen. We have one. So do so many other carriers. Other carriers' rates are not as high as ours. We're paying 5.25% now on our premium deposit account, and that can go for up to 11 years. And there you can see carriers that you've used before and their rates and how low many of them are compared to us. And basically what it enables you to do is to take somebody who has, maybe they don't have an interest in doing an ongoing premium. Maybe they would prefer to just pay it all at once, but they don't want it to be a mech. So we can put that money into a premium deposit account, and internally at Securian, we will remove enough from the premium deposit account each year to pay the annual premiums as they come due. Now it offers a tremendous amount of design flexibility having that, especially in certain markets. And I'm going to, like, for example, and I'm just going to get ahead of myself a little bit and just quickly discuss a death benefit concept that was mentioned earlier when you said about the $99 a month program for grandparents to buy insurance on their children. It's a great program. People love it. It's easy to talk about. It's a very retail number, $99 a month. But a lot of grandparents may prefer to say, you know, I don't know if I like the idea of paying a premium all the way through for my grandchildren's entire life because I know I won't be here for that. Can't I just give you all that you need now? I'll write one check, put it in the PDA, and I'm done. And they have their policy in force. It's not a mech. It's going to grow, whether it's an accumulation or a death benefit oriented design. Grandparents can say, that's done. I feel like I've accomplished something. So now you have options in terms of doing that kind of gifting. All right, so the PDA is a tremendous design opportunity that we have on accumulation sales. So now let's look at a second one. We have another rider agreement called Income Protection Flex Agreement, IPA Flex. Sounds like a beer, it's a life insurance rider. And what it enables you to do is you can guarantee income for your beneficiaries with the death benefit. So if you want to do that, you can set it up so that a portion or all of the benefit goes to the beneficiaries in the form of an income. Now, sometimes people select this rider for an entirely different reason, and that is greater accumulation potential. When a carrier knows that they may not have to pay a lump sum, but they can pay out over a period of years, the costs of insurance can be noticeably lower. And if you're doing an accumulation-based design, it's a good idea to consider adding this to the design so that you can marginally improve the cash value accumulation and then therefore the income that you would be proposing in retirement. Okay, so that's the IPA Flex. And I want to show you now just an insurance illustration, a couple of pages of it to demonstrate these two riders in action. So here we have, hold on, I need to move back up here just a minute to see the top. Okay, so we have David Letterman, male 60, preferred non-tobacco. And he's got $100,000 that he wants to put into the premium deposit account to pay a premium into a overfunded accumulation design. So this is a minimum death benefit 3-pay, where $100,000 is going in a lump sum into the premium deposit account at 5.25%. And there you can see that $100,000 turns into $35,052 a year. So $105,158 goes into the policy versus just the 100 because the interest is also added to the annual premiums. So for 3 years, we've overfunded this program. And let me explain why I showed you a 60-year-old on an accumulation basis. And we'll move ahead to the next couple of pages because it becomes pretty obvious in a hurry that what's going to happen is you're going to have the capacity to do something that you probably can't do anywhere else. When you talk about illustrations that are for accumulation designs, typically it's overfunded with a minimum death benefit. And that's exactly what I did here. This 60-year-old, I said, here's the 100,000 into the PDA, the 35,000 a year for 3 years is coming out. It's fully funded after 3 years. And if you notice on the death benefit column on the far right, there's a little hashtag in the 3rd year. That indicates the following year we make a material change. So we've changed to death benefit option A. And then in year 5, we made another reduction for a minimum death benefit. And it goes from 455 down to 132,000. We're doing that because the primary purpose of this design is maximum cash value and therefore maximum income in retirement. And here we have a 60-year-old. Normally, you wouldn't think about this kind of a design for a 60-year-old because normally you'd say, well, they don't want to wait 15 years to start taking money out of a policy. Well, we believe that it's correct and that this is definitely not a mech. This is a tax favored design for a 60-year-old to put $100,000 into a policy in year one and start getting income from it as soon as the 6th year. $8,300.12 and $12 is being illustrated, which may not sound like many dollars, but if you compare $8,300 to the $100,000 that went in, that's 8.3% interest, tax-free. So it's a lot like clipping coupons. I've heard it described as mailbox money, if people remember mailboxes. It's a great way for someone who's 60 to set up an alternative extra stream of income and have it come to pass as early as the 6th year. All right, so that's an accumulation design that's extremely unique. I'm kind of exaggerating a point because I used the PDA. The IPA flex is on here too, lowering the cost of insurance. In the background, I have that added too, just so you could see the marginal impact that it had on the design. So let's move on to some life insurance death benefit designs. In other words, now we're going to focus on the death benefit and buying those dollars at the lowest cost possible and having a guaranteed age 120. We have 2 policies that can do that. One's individual and the other one's survivorship. We can show a fully guaranteed death benefit all the way to age 120. And so we're seeing an awful lot of activity with this, primarily in single pays, short pays, or 1035 exchange with maybe a lower recurring premium design. Those kinds of things, we're not only winning, we're winning by a lot. I had someone tell me yesterday that they had a case where we were beating another carrier and they were a full table higher than us. So we can, in some of these short pay and single pay designs, we can beat the competition with one arm behind our back. So it works pretty well. And I just wanted to talk to you about a couple of quick obvious reasons why we might look good. For example, if you do a lot of policy reviews, and you really should, you pick up your clients or prospects policies, do a review, and many times that'll lead to a replacement. The old policies have outlived their original purpose, and the cash in those policies gets moved over on a tax favored basis with a 1035 exchange to a new product. And we're good at that. Sometimes they're being illustrated as one single premium from the 1035, or one single premium with the same premium that they had with their old policy, or maybe even a lower one. So that's one thing. Another thing is this concept that you see on your screen now. And this is a case study we have. It says, go ahead, spend your retirement dollars and leave a legacy. I've heard it also described as live better, leave more. And the concept is really very simple. And I can tell you about it by talking about a case that I worked on personally with a couple who said, Jim, we need to take care of 6 particular heirs that we have an abiding interest in providing for. Her 3 children from a prior marriage and his sister's 3 children. So those 6 people were their primary beneficiaries, and they wanted to give $500,000 to each. So that's $3 million, and they wanted to buy $3 million in the most efficient way. And what ended up happening is I went back to him and I said, look, the premium is $62,000 a year. And there was a pause, and he said, well, can't I just pay it all at once and get it over with? And the answer is, yeah, yes, of course you can do that. And I had explained to him that it would be a mech, but in this circumstance, it was irrelevant. It doesn't matter if it's a mech because he's simply buying death benefit, and that will still pass tax-free at death, even though it isn't a mech. So you can see that $898,000 went in year one and bought $3 million of guaranteed death benefit out to age 120. So here's why this is very interesting because that doesn't really tell the story. You're really buying, it's almost like getting a mortgage. You're buying money for future delivery at an unknown time. What's the most effective way to buy that? And the only way to measure that is to look at the internal rate of return at death. So let me move quickly ahead to that page and show you how we demonstrate that, because this ends up being the only thing that needs to be talked about in this design. Okay, so you can see in early years, that far right-hand column starts out, it's ridiculous, 233% return on your money in the first year. Nobody wants to worry about that. He was focusing, the client was focusing on age 90, because he thought that would be a good year. They were both preferred. He was preferred select, she was preferred. If you look at age 90, the IRR on death is 5.64%. That's really high. And that's favorable. And if you look, if he continues to live past that age, it doesn't drop off much. As a matter of fact, it comes back and it becomes even better in later years, because the death benefit breaks through and also starts increasing at age 94 in this case. So this is an extremely effective way to buy money for future delivery. And it doesn't have to be a big case like this. It can be a small case. The money works the same way. The interest rates work the same way. So if it's 100,000 going in or 800,000 going in, it doesn't matter. You'll still see the same return in that far right-hand column. This is something that is really, really a really good way to do it. Obviously, another thing you can do with this kind of a design is an asset transfer design in an estate planning situation. I wanted to show you something that is a little more everyday, and that would include people wanting to just provide for their family on a guaranteed basis, and they want to do that at the lowest possible cost. So that's what we're looking at here. Then another way that quite often death benefit oriented designs show up is with that chronic illness agreement that we talked about earlier when I was talking about the SICA rider in the term insurance. But once that policy gets converted to a permanent policy, typically people select a death benefit oriented product to put that CIA agreement on. And that the Eclipse Protector 2 is a highly efficient way to do that. Low cost, we're known for low cost and great return on the amount of premium going in. So that's that idea. I wanted to just make sure that I covered that. So you have, typically we're seeing a lot of $300,000 to $500,000 face amount policies coming in with a CIA agreement for either 2 or 4%, so that if you go into claim later in life and you lose 2 out of 6 activities of daily living, or if you have a severe cognitive impairment, you would qualify to get either 2 or 4% of the death benefit per month. It's just that design, the selection of the 2 or 4% is yours as the broker working with your client to decide how that works best. And you can have it designed so that maybe you want $1 million of coverage, but you only want $500,000 of that to be in play for the CIA. You can do it that way too. So we have a lot of design flexibility. You do the casework, you do the data taker and talk to the client, and we'll help you. Levinson with our assistants will help you with the design to show to your clients. So moving away from death benefit oriented things, I just wanted to just do a quick shout out for number 3 on the list. The reason, number 3 reason you'd want to look at Securian, and this could be covered in another call, but we have an industry leading asset-based long-term care plan called Securian. And we have a whole different set of people working carefully and hard to make sure that folks like you are well prepared to write that. So I just wanted to do that mini commercial for that in the middle of all of this. Number 2, the second reason for, in the top 10 to use us is this. We have a program that was mentioned earlier called RightFit. This is an e-app with a streamlined underwriting provision, and you can see on your, I hope you can see what it basically says on single life products from ages 18 to 50, we can go up to $3 million on this platform. And all rate classes are available. Typically, once the tele-interview is done, if there is one, we don't always require it, you'll have an offer within 24 hours. Everything's done electronically. Ages 51 to 60 can be up to $1 million. So if you think about it, if that example I showed you was not on a 69-year-old and a 66-year-old, if it was on a 50-year-old, you can do up to $3 million. This doesn't have to be just term insurance. You can use this for our index products as well. And so up to $3 million, it's an easy experience for you to go through. It's an e-app online. It works out really well. And this is the part, what I'm about to say, if you know anything about this type of underwriting, this should impress you. We have over a 65% acceleration rate. What that means is over 65% of the right fit apps that start the process go all the way through within the process. The other 35% or so moves, they don't get knocked out, they just move over into the regular full underwriting queue and get underwritten. That's very high in the industry. Typically, you're hearing more like between 30 and 50%. 65% is extremely high. And the other part is a very high percentage of those 65%, like approaching 70% or so, are getting our top 2 rating classes. So it's typically a good experience. What we have is a nice data taker you can take with you on your appointments or on the phone, or you can even just send it to your client, have them complete it. If you have all of that information that's on the data taker and a picture of their driver's license, you have everything that you need to do an app online once you're finished talking to the client. So it's really easy for you, and they can participate in the process. If they don't want to do the tele-interview, they can do an online part 2 if they want. So we try to make it as easy for both you and your client to get this done so that it comes as close to like an Amazon kind of experience for you. Every time it stays within the right fit process all the way through. So more on that can be found out, with any of your questions or any of your follow-up. I'll say that now I'm down to the number 1 reason that to work with us is that Levinson has a preferred relationship with Securian, and we're very glad to be working with you all. This information that we talked about is all on compliance-based PDFs. I can provide those to the agency if you're interested. We can do some fulfillment on that too. So I guess if you remember nothing else from today, remember that we are a highly rated company. We have very unique and innovative riders that make your design capability that much better. And we have industry-leading products with great rates, especially with life guarantees for death benefit oriented sales, or innovative riders that can help you with an accumulation-based sale. So that's all I had in my prepared remarks. I'm so glad to have a chance to talk to you. If there's questions now, I'll ask Andrew or Bill, what would come next. And
Yeah, yep. Jim, let me see right now. Let me check some of our questions that came in, and we can do some of these live. Andrew, do you have anything that you didn't get back to yet that we need Jim for?
Yeah, so I have a good question here from Mario, who asks, what are some of Securian's underwriting niches, like pilots or, people who have certain ailments like diabetics, like where do you guys shine in that regard?
Yeah, we have, I can get you some material to follow up with on everything. You mentioned vape earlier. Typically, as long as we don't see a marker, I forget what they call a marker, but we can tell if somebody is using ignition, like an ignition-based delivery, if they're getting their nicotine through a cigarette or a pipe or a cigar, we can tell that from the marker. But if it's coming in through vape, we can say, look, we'll give you a non-smoker rate, but you'll go 1 class higher on the underwriting side. So if you were preferred tobacco, we can move you to standard non-tobacco, for example. So that's one of them. And there are others of family history and some, I'll have a summary sent to you so you can see them all. There's plenty of them. One thing that sticks out, and I found this out I found this out during that case I talked about for the $3 million. The woman was, I thought, looked great and looked healthy, and she turned out to be, but we wanted to give her a standard rate because we thought she was too light. She was 5'6", 132 pounds, which sounds kind of normal to me, but we thought that that was a little light. So what that really tells me is that if you have somebody that's a little higher on the build chart for weight, if you're looking at build and for weight for their height, if it's a little higher, we may be favorable there too. So that's something that sticks out as well.
Okay, good stuff. Anything else, Andrew, since we're a little early here for a change?
I actually have all the questions answered. The rest of them were very similar, or they were answered on the slides.
Beautiful.
Okay, good stuff. All right, Jim. So yeah, what we're going to do is, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to send a thank you email to all participants tonight before we wrap up. So if you can have your internal send me some great brochures, anything relative, we'll get it out to the agents as well. And you know, it's great. We literally just placed last week a beautiful case with Securian. So we're on the right track, and I think we're going to make you proud in 24. Okay, so Jim, thanks again. I have a few slides left that have to do with marketing, getting your story out there. Okay, we're going to show you some examples that agents are using today. So I think some great nuggets here in just a few more minutes, and then we'll get you out right before 4 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so to get started, we're also going to include this in the thank you email. And if, by the way, if you don't receive those from us in your inbox, check your spam folder. And if you still don't see it, we have your incorrect email address. So please reach out and let us know. But anyway, if you can't wait till tonight, you can jump on our website and just hover over contracting, see the first yellow arrow, and then just follow those arrows. Everything is in front of you. And then with your first paid application with Securian, we give you cash for contracting or leads for contracting if you transfer the contract or maybe had a contract in the past. So just let us know. We'll get you up and running. IUL materials. So we have a huge library of marketing material focused on consumer IUL sales and the value add and why IUL for retirement purposes, cash accumulation, all the above. Check out our library. The marketing library is on the bottom right-hand corner, and you can dive in and spend days there. Okay, and everything's complimentary, so check that out when you can. Let's move to the next slide. So this is the only, I mentioned this earlier, but this is the only carrier-compliant IUL sales software presentation system that's available today, period. Okay? Yes, there are other companies, but they are not carrier compliant, which is a big deal, especially when it's your license on the line. You need to think about that. And Securian is one of those approved companies. So we also have, and this is great, so Stonewood is available, and there is a fee for this. It's a co-op discount. And then there is a way, once you start writing some premium, where we pay for the entire package for you, or all you have to do is call any one of our marketers. We can run the Stonewood presentation for you, send it to you, and then you can use that to make a new sale. Okay, so reach out anytime. We have a new annuity version that's built into the platform that we are launching in January of 24 as well. So that's awesome. It makes the sale much easier. Bottom line, the consumer understands IUL in layman's terms, okay? And it just makes it an easier conversation at the end of the day. We also have IUL prospecting books that are built into the platform. If you look at the top right-hand corner, in fact, what we're going to do, leave a review, go to our Facebook page, and I'll send you one on us. I mentioned it earlier. I'll bring it up again. That's a great way, especially if you want to pass these out at a holiday party for some of your top clients or family network, whatever. And what the book does, it tees up the IUL appointment for you. Okay, it works awesome. So definitely a good way to generate leads. Let's keep moving forward. What I want to mention quickly, and this is also an important note, when you think about Securian, and we spoke about that ultimate door opener, the $99 legacy concept for great for parents, grandparents, for children, grandchildren. And what most agents aren't aware of is this product comes with our free scholarship program. So on top of the cash accumulation, the death benefit comes this up to 1 year free scholarship. And now we have over 435 colleges in the US. So that is a free value add. Why? Just because the consumer is working with you, okay, and not another competing agent. So you throw that into the mix, and again, it makes for a no-brainer door opener sale, okay? And yes, you're making a few bucks, but you're gaining a client. And then you can talk about other products and other needs, okay, for cross-selling purposes. So you got to think like that. This is a great message to get out on social media, through e-blasting, all the above. Okay, the next slide, this is huge. This is a really, really big deal because this will help you win over cases and make it a no-brainer when it comes for the client to work with you over the other agents out there in the field. Okay, and here's why. Let's take a look at this. We know, right, how many people that smoke cigars, cigarettes, vaping, chewers, okay? For the most part, agents aren't aware that there are certain underwriting niches with certain carriers where that person can get non-smoker rates. So this is a big, big deal because the premium comes in typically less than 50%. That's a huge difference. You're going to get the sale every time. Top right corner, check this out. The pro tip, Forrester's non-med term allows vapor e-cig users to get non-smoker rates. Okay, we were talking about Securian. That's our main carrier of today. So occasional cigarette smokers get non-smoker rates. Okay, no one has that, folks. Yes, John Hancock has the quit smoking incentive where you get standard, but only for 2 years, and then it will go up. But that, unheard of. Unheard of. Chewers can get preferred non-tobacco. Cigar smokers, non-smoker rates. That's huge. Okay. Lincoln, very similar. Okay. What I do like about Lincoln that Securian doesn't have is if you have a client that has the marijuana card, the prescription card, you can get up to preferred non-tobacco rates, even admitting to it, which obviously they should. Prudential, another big one when it comes to this, and then John Hancock I mentioned earlier. So let's keep moving forward. We're going to include that slide in our thank you email. I just want to make sure we get out on time. The IUL risk class upgrade. This is another huge deal. Okay, I don't know how much longer this is going to last. Okay, I think one of these three is going to end at the end of December, but it's not official yet. But let's go first to the bottom right-hand corner, Securian, a 2 risk class upgrade program for chewers and alternate tobacco users. So you're talking standard up to preferred. That's a huge deal. Now, everything else has to line up, no red flags. But again, you talk about winning over cases or even going back to your old cases that maybe got withdrawn or maybe postponed. Maybe you couldn't place it. The premium was crazy. Definitely, I would revisit that case or that client. Now there's never been a better time. In fact, because I've never seen anything like this. So Allianz, I'm going to mention real fast, top left side now, standard non-tobacco to preferred best. That's 2 classes, okay? As long as they fall into standard, your client's walking away with a preferred best rating. Premium drops tremendously. Lincoln, again, right now until end of year, and actually this one is ending in March of 24, so we have a few more months there. Standard to preferred, another big deal. Okay, so now is the time. There's never been a better time. And our marketers can run these side by side for you to see who shines and where that client is going to gain the best risk class upgrade and premium savings. Okay, the next slide here we get asked all the time about is leads, and more leads. So I mentioned the IUL prospecting book that's on the top left corner. Now, we do offer those at our cost if you're interested. They're typically $19.95 retail. You pay like $6 or something with shipping. But again, leave a review. You get a free version so you could see how great it is before you invest in that. On the bottom left corner, this is a great mailer that opens doors for annuity sales, for IUL sales, $600 for 1,000 mailers. Okay, you're saving about 5% on the average. The average return, depending on the city and state, is about 2%. Top right corner, mortgage protection mailers. So these are great. The reason why I like these is because they offer another plan. They call them second chance leads. So if they're 6 to 12 months old or even 1 to 2 years, they start at $2.50. So I would definitely look into this option. It is a very inexpensive way to make more sales and get your story out there. We know what happens typically, right? Someone will buy a new home and all of a sudden they move in, they took out their mortgage and they have 150 mailers sitting in their mailbox. Okay, so nobody gets the call, no one gets the sale until you come in, let's say a year later. Okay, because it was a second chance lead. So that's a great option. I would load those leads up into my CRM tool, up into Ringy, and just hit them literally every single week with a different message until they click, hey, schedule appointment in your shared calendar. And then you get a ping, and boom, you make the sale and you're done. Bottom right corner, for exclusive non-med life leads up to $1 million, nothing better that I've seen at least. Okay, Levinson agents pay $30 for statewide, $40 for local. These are real-time exclusive leads, fresh. You also have the occupation listed as well. And I've seen $20, $30, $40,000 cases get sold from that program. They're all generated on Facebook. Definitely worth a shot. Last year at our expo, most of the agents at that roundtable discussion were using that program and loving it. Okay, they were talking about it, which means they had a good experience. Let's keep moving forward. I want to share real fast some IUL social media posts that were top performing. There we go. So check this one out. This I love, okay? I always preach this stuff. I'm always talking to our agents about posting, social media, website presence, right? You got to be out there. I do it, okay? And we have to brand and market as an IMO, right? But you're doing the same thing just to the consumer. So check out the middle ad there, okay? This is a free post. Now, look how simple. Indexed universal life insurance is great for your retirement, okay? Was that rocket science, folks? No. That post generated 1,700 likes, over 55 comments. Every comment becomes a new lead because you're going to send them a DM, a direct message, saying, hey, I see that you have questions. I'm here to speak. Let me know what's a good time and day, and I'll call you. Okay? That's how you have to think, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I always say it. You just change a few spokes. Okay, let's move over to the left-hand side, 401k versus IUL. All he did was listed some of the facts, some bullets. Look, 94 likes, 7 comments, 7 new leads with a free post. Right-hand side. This is a did you know, okay? If you pay $250 a premium a month into a policy investment sub-account, you could grow your account value up to $565,000 after 30 years. You should have seen the debate that caused. Back and forth. It doesn't matter. People are talking. It's your page. It's your post. It generates activity, which leads to DMs, which leads to sales. So you have to start thinking like this. And I want you to do this, by the way, when we're done. Pull out your little smartphone or tablet or desktop, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, just put indexed universal life, and it'll say top performing or most recent. Put top performing, see what's doing good, and then that gives you an idea, baseline. And then build your post or your ad from there, okay? It's not reinventing the wheel and starting from scratch. Everything's already done. Next slide here is new year, new mindset, new goals. Now, I must say, by now, I hope that you've read the book, Tim Grover, Winning, okay, or Relentless. Now is the perfect time. If you read it, read it again. You have to get the wheels moving to end 23 and start 24 fresh, new approach. You got to make these small changes, action steps, and up are the words, okay? These are a few bullets, and I want to point these out real fast, things that you should be thinking about, things that should be included in your business plan or model for the new year. So IUL, Securian, American National Emeritus, National Life, which is LSW, and North American. Whole life is a big deal now. So you're going to hear consumers talk about Mass Mutual, Guardian, Northwestern, okay? You have access to companies and products as good, if not better, where the comp is literally double, okay? And we can typically match or beat any illustration from any of these companies. So you got to give these a shot. Lafayette Life, MTL, Mutual Trust, we love. In the LTC space, standalone, National Guardian Life, still a great product that's guaranteed. We also have great hybrids. You heard about one today. Term and GUL pack annuities, never been a better time. Rates skyrocketing, comp skyrocketing. That's a big deal. And life settlements. Anyone that has an existing case, okay, if it's an older client, 65 and older, the more health issues, the better, okay, as far as the payout and as far as your comp. So you got to think about this. Call in if you have questions. The Bill Levinson Experience podcast, great training tool, free. And this was my last episode. It launched last week, number 47, the president of Standard Life. Awesome presentation, Manhattan Life. We dive into the new products being added to Insure Me Now Direct. We talk about the industry trends, what's going on the last 3 to 5 years, and how things are looking moving forward. Great interview. You need to check out future trainings. That's what you're on right now. These are 3 upcoming trainings I want to mention in the bottom section in blue, real fast. Columbus Life. Excellent company as well. A big one I want to mention in the middle. This is our Q4 annuity training with Coach Chris. He's one of the top annuity consultants. You don't want to miss that presentation on the 19th. And then on the bottom, that is our 101 training platform that's free for you for annuity sales. We have a part 1. We're launching part 2 on the 5th, which talks all about prospecting. What I also want to mention before we put a bow on this, I know we're a few minutes over. I tried to end on time, but I get a little too involved in these rants. I want to wish everyone a happy Hanukkah that celebrates. I want to wish everyone else a happy holiday season. Okay, if it's Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, whatever it is, enjoy this time with your loved ones. Make sure that business plan, business model, goals are in place, dream board, call it whatever you want. But this year has to be different, right? It has to be bigger and better. There's no staying stagnant. There's no neutral. You're growing or you're diving, period. Okay? Words mean nothing. Action means everything. I'm going to end with this quote. Whatever you put into it is exactly what you will get out of it. Okay? We know there's no shortcuts here, folks. Let's have a great rest of the week, a great weekend, great selling, and we'll see you next week once again. Thank you again.